Welcome. Welcome to this quick show that I'm going to do. I know that there was no notice for this show, but that's okay. Sometimes I just decide that I'm going to go and record, and here we are. Here we are discussing Deebo Samuel. It all played out today. I mean, it hasn't played out, but afternoon. You know, you're Australia, right? So it's afternoon in Australia, apparently. You learn something new every day. But yeah, I just wanted to go over, there have been so many landing spots bandied about for Deebo Samuel. We don't know where he's going to go. We don't even know if the 49ers are going to trade him. They're up in the air. They say they won't trade him. They will trade him. We'll see. But, you know, I just want to kind of look at, a couple of things. First, the depth charts of wide receivers in the NFL, and then I also want to take a look at, draft capital and specifically, which teams might be able to afford Deebo Samuel. 115 apparently in Australia. Awesome. So for me, anywhere Deebo Samuel goes is a downgrade, right? I mean, we saw Kyle Shanahan unlocked the Deebo Samuel role, and he was great, right? He was great in San Francisco. I think anywhere is a downgrade. If he goes to Kansas City or Green Bay, okay, maybe I can live with it. He says he doesn't want to be used as that hybrid player. He wants to be a wide receiver. I think he'll succeed as a wide receiver in Kansas City. I think he'll succeed in Green Bay. But I don't know if those teams would be interested. Unfortunately, the teams we've heard the most are not appealing. The Jets, the Texans are the two I've heard the most. But beyond them, there's some people speculated on the Cowboys. I don't see how they're going to do that after the Gallup contract and having to pay CeeDee Lamb coming up. The Eagles, they definitely need him. That would be terrible. Terrible fit. Commanders need him. The Bears need him. The Lions have kind of a spot. So, if I look at all of the teams and what I think is the most realistic good outcome, it's the Chiefs, actually. The Chiefs are the most realistic good outcome. I think that they don't have any big money committed to a wide receiver. They have a little bit committed to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, a little bit committed to Juju, but they can afford Deebo Samuel. The Packers, I don't see why they would do it unless Devontae Adams was just really completely done with them and they were never going to keep him. Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it. I said I was good with the Packers. I was good with the Chiefs. Ryan, if you're not busy, just log into the StreamYard. Log into the StreamYard and give your thoughts, right? Ryan has the password to the StreamYard. So, just surprise me and just appear. You're more than welcome to do that. But with that being said, I'm good with the Chiefs. I'm good with the Packers. Anywhere else, I'm projecting a significant downgrade. Now, if we look at some of the options, I have heard the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Ravens kind of bandied about. I don't know how I feel about any of those. The Texans are not great. I personally think if the trade happens, it's going to go to somewhere we don't like. I think the Jets and the Texans are the most likely. I don't know why the Texans are in. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, we have heard that, but you never really find out the full story until it's all years later. That's the cover story at the moment. But also, we know that there was this whole thing with Tom Brady and the Dolphins. There was the whole thing about Arians moving to the front office because he wanted to leave a good team for Todd Bowles. We know that's bullshit, right? That's bullshit, but that's the cover story. And, I don't like bullshit, but that's, NFL teams feel a need to feed us bullshit. So, we never know what the real story is. But I do think the Packers would be a good spot for Deebo Samuel. He would be their offense if he went there. So I would be perfectly fine with that. But yeah, my favorites are the Packers and the Chiefs. I think that they're both possible. They're both realistic. Now, let's say it's not the Packers or the Chiefs, right? Those low-hanging fruit. So let's say that those are off the table. So if it's not going to be the Packers, it's not going to be the Chiefs. And I look at some of the teams around the league. Realistically, you could say the Cowboys, but I don't see the Cowboys as realistic. I don't think they're going to be able to afford that. I see them picking a wide receiver in the first round, potentially, but not affording Deebo Samuel, an acquisition. I think that looking around, the Falcons are interesting. The Falcons are interesting because they have a target void. They have nothing. Their wide receivers are Auden Tate, Kadarius Hodge, Frank Darby, Damiere Byrd, and Olamide Zaccheaus. That's nothing. They have Kyle Pitts and nothing else. So if you went to the Falcons, yes, they have Marcus Mariota. Hey, they have Marcus Mariota as their quarterback, but first of all, they're going to upgrade that quarterback position. And if they traded for Deebo Samuel without giving up the number 8 overall pick, they might be able to then have Deebo Samuel, Garrett Wilson, and Kyle Pitts, and all of a sudden you have something there. Or we could take Malik Willis, and then Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, and then you have Deebo Samuel and Kyle Pitts as weapons. So there's just a target void in Atlanta that I really like the potential, even though the quarterback's not there. Remember that Deebo Samuel does most of his damage close to the line of scrimmage. Anybody can throw it 2 yards. Any quarterback can throw it 2 yards. So I think that he could succeed there. Looking beyond the Falcons, actually in the same division, I think the Saints are a decent spot too. They have Kamara, they have Thomas, but Michael Thomas is a question mark. He hasn't done anything in years. And, Alvin Kamara, he's great, but he's primarily a running back. They need to use him in the running game lately. So if they had Deebo Samuel, that would give them 3 pillars of their offense. And I think he would be great with Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston wants to be a high-flying fantasy quarterback, but he just didn't have the weapons to do that last year. Of course, he had no Thomas and no other weapons at all. He had nothing. So, of course, he didn't throw the ball very much. Imagine if he had Deebo Samuel as his 1, Michael Thomas as a 2, and then Alvin Kamara. Suddenly, I think he would be a little bit better. So I kind of like the Saints as a potential option. And then, I would love it if he went to the Cardinals. That's not going to happen. They're not going to trade him in division, but the Cardinals would be a great fit. Then moving beyond those teams, I think there are a couple other low-key options that I wouldn't hate. I would not hate percent chance that Deebo moves. 80. I say 80% chance that Deebo moves. Because he'll show up and play anyway, but then you have disruption. You can't have that. With a rookie quarterback, or not a rookie, I guess, a second-year quarterback who hasn't played in Trey Lance, you can't have disruption. You can't have disruption. If you don't trade him for a player in this year's draft, then you can't replace him. So I think they make the move and just don't deal with this problem. Personally. But the Bears are an interesting landing spot, actually. The Bears are interesting. Justin Fields needs weapons. The incompetent front office has failed to put any weapons around Justin Fields. Big failure. The Bears, I've said it many times. They replaced a Ryan and a Matt with another Ryan and a Matt and accomplished nothing by doing so. Really, nothing accomplished. So trading for Deebo Samuel would accomplish something, but they're not going to do that. They're rebuilding. They like losing. That's what they like. They like losing. The owners in Chicago like losing. Losing is good. That's what they would say. That's what they would tell you. So they like losing. So they're not going to do it. But I actually think it would be good. It makes sense. They have David Montgomery, good running back. They have Cole Kmet, developing tight end. He's good. Darnell Mooney, good. He's a good Z receiver. He's good. He can play downfield. He can do a few things. He can get some volume, but he's not really meant to get 140 targets like he got last year. He's really a Z receiver. So if you add Deebo Samuel as a big receiver, someone really take the number 1 role, take pressure off Darnell Mooney, I think it would be a good offense for Justin Fields. They're not going to do it, though, because they're a bunch of losers over there. A bunch of losers. They like losing, so they won't make a trade for Deebo Samuel. But they should. They should really consider. I think they should consider it. So that's one of the other good landing spots. Other than that, everyone could say the Chargers. It's not realistic. They just paid Mike Williams. They have Keenan Allen under contract. They can't afford Deebo. And then beyond that, I think we've cleaned out all the other. Oh, the Colts. The Colts, I think, are a good landing spot. It's not great. I mean, Matt Ryan, I'm not sure Matt Ryan is who I want as my fantasy quarterback, but they really don't have anything beyond Michael Pittman at all. And I think Deebo Samuel will be able to coexist with him. I think they can support those two weapons. Jonathan Taylor gets involved in the passing game, but not all that much. It would nuke Nyheim Hines. Not that Nyheim Hines has any value anyway, but essentially Deebo Samuel would come in and take Nyheim Hines' role away in addition to being a wide receiver. I don't hate that. Now let's go into some of the landing spots that are bad in order from bad to really bad. So there are a couple that I think are realistic that are not awful. They're not awful, but they're not great. If he went to, let's say, the Texans, it's fine. He's fine on the Texans. He'll be the number one ahead of Cooks. You know, it's fine. Davis Mills can probably get the ball to him. It's okay, but I'm not overly excited about it. The Jets are also okay. Like, I have a little bit more confidence in Zach Wilson than I do in Davis Mills, but I am more threatened by Elijah Moore than I am by Brandon Cooks long term. And also, it's the Jets. Somehow everything with the Jets always goes wrong. So it's okay, but I'm not overly excited about it. And then those two are kind of meh. The Steelers, I've heard a little bit, but I see that as so unlikely, but it wouldn't be great. I mean, he'd have to compete with Deontay and Claypool. And then the Jaguars I've also heard, but again, that's not great either. There's a lot of receivers there, and it's just kind of a big mess, and I don't trust that organization to use them correctly. Those are some of the other ones that I've heard that are not great. Then let's move into terrible. Oh, also, I would include the Patriots in not great. He'd be the clear one, but I don't think that's not a great landing spot. It's just okay. And I would say that, are we talking a dynasty team or an NFL team? In the NFL, I think DK Metcalf is worth more than Deebo Samuel. In dynasty, actually, I think it's the same way. So DK Metcalf is worth more to me. Let's get into what I would call the terrible landing spots. First of all, the Dolphins. I have consistently heard the Dolphins linked somehow to Deebo Samuel. Like somehow they're going to be able to afford Deebo Samuel on top of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, I still think DK will be more expensive than Deebo. Because DK is more of a traditional alpha wide receiver. I think teams still look at that. I think, honestly, the Dolphins are not completely unrealistic, but it would be awful. Tua Tagovailoa is just not able to support. I'm worried he can't support Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as wide receiver ones. If they had Deebo Samuel, it's just a mess there. Someone's going to, I didn't actually expect him.
You said I could surprise you. Of course I'm going to surprise you. Of course I'm going to hop.
I did say it. Okay. Well, I've been chattering a lot about nonsense and just talking about things. What do you think? Do you think he's going to get traded?
There's been a lot of back and forth on what could happen. I think he's going to get traded eventually. Oh, did you mention about the tidbit about Drake London?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
The 49ers went to his pro day. It wasn't a USC pro day. It was Drake London's pro day. Obviously, they didn't have the draft capital to draft him, but maybe after they draft or they trade Deebo.
Well, I mean, how much would they get for Deebo? I mean, they're probably sending him to Atlanta then for the 8th pick if they think they're going to get Drake London.
The Jets at 10.
Yeah, the Jets at 10 would be interesting.
I mean, it wasn't an SC pro day. It was a separate Drake London pro day, and they were there.
I wish, but there's just no way. They can't outlay that kind of money to another wide receiver. I wish. The Chargers, I think, are in play to draft a wide receiver at 17 to complete. Jameson Williams is the one I put there to complete their offense. But Deebo Samuel, they can't afford it, unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
But yeah, I was talking about how a lot of the most realistic landings. I mean, what are the most realistic landings? If you had to pick what you think is going to happen, are you still with the Jets?
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm actually with the Texans at the moment, which makes no sense. But I I don't know. I kind of believe it. I could see it.
I could see it as well. I mean, they don't have anything in that backfield, but I don't know how true these reports are. I don't know.
That's really the thing, is like, how true are these reports that Deebo Samuel does not want to be a running back? He wants to be a wide receiver. How true is that? Yeah, that's just what we said, actually. How true is that?
See, he has merch that has wide back on it. Like,
yeah, like, does he really not want to be a running back at all? Because if that's the case, then a lot of teams would be interested. But, you know, they'll have to know that. They'll have to know that he's going to be a traditional wide receiver and pay him accordingly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Deebo Samuel is so good that almost any team would be interested at the right price, trade-wise and contract-wise.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he's fantastic. He basically created his own position, for crying out loud.
I just think that, like, what do you think about the Eagles? I don't really.
They've been rumored as well. I mean, I'm here for it. It would work well in the offense.
That's a bad landing spot, right?
Fantasy wise, yes. For my enjoyment, no.
Yeah, for your enjoyment, it would be great. I just feel like, okay, here's kind of what I feel like. Is anywhere really an upgrade? I would say no, right? I mean, I guess the Packers and the Chiefs would be okay, but I don't know. Like, what do you do if you have Deebo Samuel in Dynasty right now? Hold him and wait?
I feel like you have to, because just at the chance that these reports are wrong, like, I think you have to.
Well, if the reports are wrong and he refuses to show up,
then you're
better. But let me put it this way. I'll put the rankings. Let's just, we have more time. We haven't done this as much on our shows lately. Yeah, no, Jacob, you're wrong about this. Yeah, very wrong. Lots of places are an upgrade. Not true. Not true. I mean, this is the team that unlocked his fantasy value. I think you could say that the Packers, with the target void that they have, are the one place I could see it. One. Everywhere else, nah. I'll believe it when I see it that they can use him that way, because no one else has ever really been able to. The Falcons kind of did it a little bit with Patterson, but then they went away from it. Over the back half of the season. They stopped doing it. So they had half a season, it was going great, and then they just stopped doing it. So I don't buy it. I want him to stay. But the Packers with the target void, I could be convinced. Otherwise, no. Even the Chiefs. But anyway, would you take, okay, so let's say you're doing a startup right now. Would you take Deebo Samuel or Cooper Kupp? Do you want the age, or do you want the locked-in situation?
You want the locked-in situation. Dynasty. Take Kupp. They've talked about a contract for him, but he's reporting everything. Everything's going well.
Kupp's not going to hold out.
No.
Okay. What about CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
So take CeeDee Lamb. Okay, let's move down a little bit. Jalen Waddle.
I would take the discount on Waddle too.
So you take Waddle. Okay. What about Metcalf? DK Metcalf. Kind of in the same boat. A little bit younger. Almost 2 years younger.
We've seen DK be special. I know we saw Deebo be special too, but we've seen DK be special for longer. I think he could overcome.
So Metcalf.
Yeah.
Okay. T. Higgins.
I have T. Higgins very high in my dynasty ranking. So
okay. So you'd rather have T. Higgins than Deebo.
Yeah. I have T. Higgins above. I think I have T. Higgins above all the guys you just listed, besides Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I have T. Higgins way lower, so we're not in the same place. And then, okay, what about Deontay Johnson?
I'd take Deebo then. I love Deontay, but
Deebo in the exact same spot. So, literally exactly the same.
Just different people getting there. apparently.
No, it's the same people. We just have them in different order.
Different order.
But I have all the guys you took above him, and I have Deontay Johnson below him. So we have him in the exact same spot.
It was close. It's close.
Yeah, I think it's a teardrop from Deebo to Deontay Johnson, actually. And I think, the guys we listed, Kupp, Waddle, Metcalf, Higgins, and Deebo are all in the same tier. And A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb are kind of in that tier.
Yeah.
They're a slight nudge above to me.
Yeah, like a 2A kind of thing.
Yeah, they're like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are tier 1. CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown are like tier 2A. And like tier 2B is like Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Deebo. And then, Deontay Johnson starts tier 3, which has the old guys in it too. The 2 young guys in Deontay and DJ Moore, and then the old guys of Diggs, Adams, Hill. And I also have Godwin in tier 3, who I still really like.
Yeah.
Godwin and Johnson are similar age, and I think Godwin is better. But yeah, we've gotten way off the track of Deebo. So let's go to the other stuff with Deebo then. Let's say Deebo's gone. So I think I talked a lot about this landing spot, that landing spot. I asked you about the Eagles. We got your take on the Eagles. I talked a lot about that. What I actually have not yet talked about, what we could talk about, is what do you think Deebo moving means for Trey Lance, Elijah Mitchell, actually, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, the existing players?
I mean, it has to be. I want to say good because the volume increased, but Deebo took away so much attention that it's going to be a positive for Ayuk, of course, getting the wide receiver targets. Kittle, I think the only game Kittle was out, I was looking at, someone posted it. He had or the only game Deebo was out, Kittle had 40 PPR points this season. So that's insane. But I think it's the best for Mitchell, of course.
Yeah.
Obviously.
If they don't draft another running back, that's the thing. If they don't draft another running back.
I don't think they will. I
think they're more likely to. Also, I will say this, and this is a little bit under the radar, but if Juwan Jennings is on your Dynasty waiver wire, he should not be. They just retained him to his what's it called? Restricted or exclusive rights tender.
Exclusive rights, yeah.
So he should not be on your Dynasty waiver wire. He should be on a roster because he might have an opportunity. And we know that they're a meritocracy there. They won't. The better player is going to play regardless of the draft capital.
Yeah, regardless of the draft capital.
Yeah, we wouldn't know anything about that with Trey Failure. He sucks. He sucks, man. I could go off on Trey Sermon for everyone. Yeah, that's about right. Positive to everyone, but Lance has a big negative for Lance, right? I mean, Lance losing. I still think that it doesn't really matter for Lance because Lance is either going to rush for 1,000 yards a season in the NFL or he's not. And that's all that matters. Right? I mean, for fantasy, that's all that matters.
All that matters is the rushing stats, really.
Yeah. But I could get behind that. But yeah, Juwan Jennings, if he's on your waiver wire, I would take a look at that because I really think that, he's a low-key addition. And they also signed Ray McLeod in free agency, but I'm not as interested in him. Juwan Jennings is the one.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to need to do that. I don't think anyone's really paying attention to him other than me. I mean, maybe I underestimate people. But, I don't think I'm really underestimating people, honestly, on this one.
I know there was a couple tweets about him, but let me check Sleeper right now. He's the top ad, but it's not like
I just don't think people are overly awake. Dropping Tony Jones. Yeah, I mean, I kind of low key like Tony Jones, but I'd probably rather have That's probably right around. He's probably actually right around there. Similar value.
I'd rather have Jennings because the second Deebo gets traded, you could probably flip Jennings.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I'm with it on Jennings.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with that. But anyway, I don't think there's not too much else to say really about this. I'm just happy that Ryan surprised me more than anything. But yeah,
you offered it. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I'm good with Juwan Jennings over Tony Jones.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. I mean, I think you're right on a lot of people are just. He's been picked up in about 7,000 sleeper leagues, which isn't a lot. And he's only rostered in 47% of them. So,
I mean, Deebo also hasn't been traded yet. If the trade actually happens, and then let's see, we get through the draft. No, don't drop Curtis Samuel. Drop Tony Jones. Curtis Samuel has the contract. He'll have another chance to do something, but don't drop him. So, but anyway, there's not too much else to say. So I guess it was nice to see the surprise, and I hope you all enjoyed this surprisingly long show. I know I kind of got off track a lot of times, but it was fun. And yeah, I'll try to do these live reactions. I learned from the contract extension ones, like those are probably not worth it. But for big news like this, I'll try to hop on, even if it's just speculation. But I'll try to stick to like bigger news, and if we get anything like that over the summer, I will hop on and do that. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, peace.
See yous.